Hi you guys, how are you all? I hope that you are doing well. I felt like it was appropriate today with the recent report that came out to talk a lot about sustainable beauty switches. I've peppered some of this content into my channel for a while now, but I thought today we would talk about some sustainable beauty swaps that aren't really makeup related. I feel like it goes without saying that the golden rule of sustainability is to consume less. Sometimes the best thing that you can actually do is hold off on those new purchases until you really need to replace something. And I feel like it's always kind of counterintuitive when I hop on here and I say stuff like that, because I do talk a lot about new products on my channel. Hopefully you guys know at this point that I make a huge effort to actually finish anything that I've opened, and often content is slower on my channel because of that. I also think it's important as a disclaimer to talk about the fact that a lot of people say you can't make a difference at an individual level, and although there are some very large industries that are responsible for the majority of our greenhouse gas emission, I think that conscious beauty or clean beauty is the perfect example of how consumer really has power. So you have power with your money, and whatever you end up purchasing is your consumer power. So if you are putting your money towards brands that have environmental initiatives or have a more sustainable approach, your dollars speak volumes. And certainly with conscious beauty, I mean, you can see a lot of larger brands have already jumped onto this. The space has just exploded from when I first started talking about this stuff, and everyone is just trying to get a piece of that green beauty, conscious beauty pie. So we can do the same thing with other purchases. You know, companies will see where the money is, and that's where they will trend. That's just kind of how it works. And so in that sense, as an individual, we do have some power. So being conscious with your purchases, trying to consume less, but when you do purchase, like I said, being conscious about where you're purchasing from, what you're purchasing, all of that. I also always think that when it comes to talks about sustainability and making more sustainable choices, it's important to be gentle with yourself and know that, you know, you can try your best, and sometimes you're not going to be able to pick the sustainable option, whether that be because you can't afford it, whether it's not available. There's so many reasons. In order for something to be sustainable, there has to be grace and patience in that lifestyle, or else it feels impossible to upkeep. That was my long soapbox spiel. I will get off my soapbox now and share these sustainable beauty swaps with you guys. I know I've mentioned a few of these before, but I thought it would just be nice to do a little refresh today. So as far as skincare tools go, I am someone who used to use cotton rounds all the time, especially with toners and products I'd be applying to my skin or taking off my eye makeup. I have since switched over to these Jenny Patinkin reusable cotton rounds. I absolutely love them. They've held up super well. Easy to throw in the wash. They actually come with a little wash bag. So what you do is you use them, you put them in this bag, and then whenever I'm doing a towel load or something, I just literally tie a knot with this bag, toss it in my washer, and then they come out nice and clean. I do have a couple of rounds that have been stained by red lipstick or something like that, but that really doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, then you can always do an extra rinse or let them soak in some soapy solution. I'm sure that would make a difference. I also think it's important to say with a lot of these, it's you buy it once and then you have it the rest of your life, versus continually going to the store and buying cotton rounds every so often. So even though some of these, the investment might feel like a lot up front, just remember you're having them for the lifetime of the product versus a one-use product where you use it and then you throw it away. Another skincare tool that really reduces the amount of products that I have in this department is a dry brush. So I have tried zillions of body scrubs. I have a couple of body scrubs, and exfoliating is something that I really like to do for my body. And although the body scrubs are luxurious and nice and sometimes soothing, the majority of the time I just use a dry brush. I've had this one for years and it's still held up really well. The bristles are still super strong. Dry brushing is great for so many reasons. I personally do it for mainly the exfoliating property, but you can also do it to get your lymph nodes moving, and it's quite invigorating, especially if you do it in the morning, if you're a morning shower person. So this one little product will save you hundreds of body scrubs throughout your lifetime. You can just use this to exfoliate. It makes a really huge difference in terms of skin quality, elasticity, circulation, firmness, firmness, all of that good stuff. So this is like a magic little wonder brush that I always suggest people add to their routine. I just feel like it makes the biggest difference for my skin, and I really notice it when I'm not doing it. So I try and do this around like 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, the next one is not exactly like an even transfer because we're talking about makeup wipes here. If you are someone who likes a makeup wipe, I would highly recommend doing some sort of face oil and then using like a reusable cloth. My favorite are these ones from Pi. They have 2 sides to them. They have this kind of like traditional washcloth side, and then they have like a muslin cloth side. I think these are personally just as easy and better than makeup wipe for many reasons. One, I think you can do a much better clean with this in a product, and 2, I just think the level of exfoliation you get with this is really nice and gives your skin like a good glow and allows products to penetrate deeper, and they don't just kind of like sit on top of that dead layer of skin that we all have. So I've tried like zillions of these. I'm actually trying the Emma Lewisham ones right now, so I'll keep you guys posted how I feel about those. But since I haven't tried those yet, I can say that these Pi ones are my absolute favorite. I have like 3 or 4 of them, and I just kind of cycle them in throughout the week. And again, whenever I do my towel load, I wash them. These have not stained at all, no matter like how much makeup I've taken off with them. So I've really been impressed with these. I've had them for a few years now, and I haven't noticed any signs of wear. Can 100% recommend these bad boys. The next swap is, again, like not a perfect solution, and you can certainly just use like a towel, but if you're someone like me where you don't wash your hair every night, on the days that I do need to take a shower but I don't want to wash my hair, instead of using those like really flimsy shower caps, I personally would recommend investing in a really nice shower cap. I've had this one for, I want to say 4 or 5 years at this point. It's from a brand called Kitsch. It actually is starting to fall apart, but I think 4 or 5 years is a pretty good run with this. And again, you can just reuse it over and over again. And like I said, I've had this for 4 or 5 years, and I think I use it around like 2 or 3 times a week. So it's held up really well. I always store it on like some sort of hook or something so that air can get inside and on the outside, just to make sure that if there's any moisture, it doesn't like build up in there and get kind of like gross and moldy. And I store it outside of my shower too, so that it like really can dry. I think I got this from Anthropologie, and they have really cute patterns. I'm sure you can also find it at other retailers, but yeah, I've been super happy with that purchase. And I actually bring it with me to like hotels and stuff if I'm traveling. It rolls up really small, and that way I don't have to use those like little ones that they provide. Next category is more of a personal topic, and that is around your period or period care. I know that there are so many different options. You can do like a Diva cup if you're into that. You can do like organic cotton tampons or pads. I personally, for the past, I think it's been around 6 years now, I've been using reusable pads. I use a brand called Glad Rags, and I have 3 different styles. I have just their like regular pad, I have their pad insert, and then I have their overnight pad. If I have to be like out and about on like heavier days on my period, then I do prefer to use kind of like a disposable one, because then I don't have to worry about carrying around a bag to put the reusable one in. But I have been working from home for a lot of years, and especially this past year and a half, I've been home a ton. So I've basically just been using these reusable pads during my period, and I really love them. I just have the plain organic cotton ones, but you can buy them with the pattern too if you're worried about staining or anything like that. I also purchased like one of their little bags that you put them in, so whenever you're done using them, you stick them in here. It's lined with like a waterproof material, and then at the end of the week or whenever you're done your period, you just throw everything in the washer and it comes out nice and clean. I put it on a pre-soak setting before I do wash, and I find that that really helps to get them super clean first wash. But they also sell like a little tin with a solution that you can soak them into throughout the week so that they're like ready to go when you're wanting to wash them. Using reusable pads has saved me so much money on period care products. I actually find like tampons kind of uncomfortable now that I've been using pads for so many years, which is really funny because when I used to use tampons all the time, I used to think that pads were really uncomfortable. So it's funny how you get used to one or the other. I know when I was first looking into reusable pads, I thought it sounded kind of weird and like kind of gross. And then I realized that was just like a whole bunch of biases that I had around periods, because periods are not gross. So if any of you out there needed to hear that, there you go. Periods are not gross. It's not gross to use reusable pads. You'll save a whole bunch of money and it's much better for the planet. Okay, last up, I have one final beauty swap that I did, and that's not using hair ties as much anymore. I used to be someone that used hair ties a lot because I always stick my hair back in a bun. Certainly for braids and ponytails, I still use them occasionally, but since I wear a bun the majority of the time, this swap has really come in handy, and it's a French pin. If I would have known how much I love these, I probably would have invested in like a nicer quality one. I got a set of 2 from Target, and these I think were like $11. I have one in my hair right now. It keeps everything in place. It's super sturdy. I don't know why more people don't use these. I just think it's really pretty too. You get this like nice little flash of color that kind of pops out of your hair. So highly recommend these. If you're someone who always wears a bun, whether it's a high bun or a low bun, once you get the hang of how to use these, they just like come in clutch. They're so easy. Okay, those are all of my beauty swaps. Obviously, there are also some awesome makeup brands that we've already talked about on my channel that are doing really cool things in terms of refills, replacements, or recycling. I do just want to give TerraCycle another shout out. If you're like me and you go through a lot of products and you try a lot of different products, it's really important to be thinking about how you're disposing them, and TerraCycle does an incredible job of actually recycling personal care products. You can go on their site and order a box that you can literally fill with all of your empties. You can send it back to them, and then you know that all of your products are being recycled responsibly. I think that is everything for me. I would absolutely love to hear what some of your swaps are. If you have any brands that you recommend. My next thing is to try and find a store that sells like bulk products near me, like bulk shampoo, bulk body wash, stuff like that. So if you know of any stores, let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you felt maybe inspired by this to change up some stuff in your routine. Always about like baby steps and just moving in the right direction. So as you finish something, replacing it with something that's maybe more sustainable, more in the realm of conscious beauty. And yeah, I think that's the whole point of conscious beauty in general, just to be a conscious consumer. So I'm wishing you guys a really wonderful rest of your day or night or whenever you're watching this. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you want to see weekly videos from me. Other than that, I will talk to you guys very soon, and I hope you're all well. Bye!